EA Games.
Challenge everything.
I think we can all agree it was very disappointing that I couldn't play Burnout 3 on my GameCube after playing Burnout 2 for hundreds of hours. Thank you very much, EA, for buying the license and ripping it away from me, you fuck. Don't hate me for not liking a game you like. And also, in a lot of cases, it's not even that I don't like these games, it's that I feel that they had a lot of wasted potential, that they were on the way to being really great. Having said all that, I know that a lot of you will ignore this point anyway, so go ahead and call me an idiot. Does anyone remember when Call of Duty was setting standards for the entire gaming industry? When every release was a massive event? When you had Kiefer goddamn Sutherland leading you through the Pacific Theater, or when you're storming Point to Hock in Call of Duty 2? When the first Modern Warfare was redefining what military shooter campaigns could be, and literally creating the blueprint for multiplayer progression that everyone still copies to this day? I guess what I'm trying to say is, remember when Call of Duty had integrity? And with the most recent release, it's just kind of embarrassing. Does anyone else remember when the first Modern Warfare 3 came out and we were a little bit disappointed with the whole experience? This is a masterpiece compared to what we're getting now. Campaign levels that are recycled from Warzone.
How dare you?
A story that tries and fails to push our nostalgia buttons.
How dare you!
And also makes fan favorite characters behave like absolute morons.
And then Soap just stands there with one hand completely free and lets Makarov shoot him again. What the fuck were Gaz and Ghost doing off screen? Stroking each other's cocks?
You can feel the anguish of the developers that were clearly forced by Activision to Frankenstein monster a new game out of leftover bits and pieces and scraps from Modern Warfare 2. But hey, at least we all get the privilege of paying full price for it. It's just so sad to see how far this series has fallen. And now Activision is just gonna continue running this thing into the ground until it's dead. I don't even really know where to start with not just NBA 2K24, but this entire series. I touched on it briefly in my sports games video, but the NBA 2K series was once at the very top, the pinnacle of not just the sports game genre, but video games in general. They were setting standards for visuals and gameplay and deep modes and just really fun, immersive experience that served basketball fans.
Those were the days, my friend.
Slowly but surely, gameplay innovation and a desire to serve the fan base was taken over by greed, laziness, and most worryingly of all, contempt for the audience. It all comes to such a nasty, ugly head in NBA 2K24, which for me is the poster child of everything that is wrong with the current video games industry. The fact that you can't go into any menu without getting served an ad to buy something in addition to the full price you've just paid for this game.
You're kidding.
You start up the game for the first time and the first thing you see is an ad telling you that you haven't got the full experience yet. You better buy this thing as well so that you can skip 10 levels of the progression that we made for you to play through. Why are you telling me I should be able to skip through the game? Oh, the XP that I've earned in the career mode is about to reset because the online seasons are about to restart in the single player mode? Of course it is. Why not? Oh, my player in the career feels incapable of performing even the most basic of basketball functions because the stat progression has been nerfed so much to the point where you're very transparently trying to frustrate me into buying more VC so I can make my player competent.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Oh, and maybe worst of all, you used the legacy of Kobe Bryant to market the shit out of this game, and you didn't even render good models of the players that were in the iconic teams that he was part of. What the fuck, 2K? I know I'm talking about the most recent NBA 2K game here, but it's just astounding how far this series has slid. But hey, at least we can go back to our old career modes in the other... Oh no, we can't play our old career modes in the other games because once the servers go offline, you can no longer play your single player career mode because there's no reason for you to do that, because why would you if 2K can't take more of your money? This series that was once so amazing has become so arrogant and contemptuous of its audience, and the degree to which this is just transparent is baffling. They don't give a fuck that we can see what they're doing. They're like, oh, you don't have a choice, buy our basketball game, dummy.
We got you.
And like I said in my sports games video, I know that video game development is expensive, but we're the audience. It shouldn't matter to us how the business works. What matters to us is the final product that gets put in our lap. I feel sorry for people that love basketball and love video games because this is what you're getting served. Fuck this shit.
You guys have to, at this point in the competition, you need to be listening to what we're telling you about what we're producing because this is ridiculous.
Let's take a bit of a drifty left turn after that last one. The run is a real heartbreaker for me because I genuinely think the idea behind this game is amazing. Racing across America and having to progressively work your way up through a field of cars. On paper, this is a really fantastic idea for a game, but we don't play games on paper. Well, apart from Hangman and Dungeons and Dragons, kind of tic-tac-toe. In practice, this is all broken down into segmented stages that feel extremely self-contained. The length of this game is also insane. I finished this in under 3 hours, and especially considering the scope of the USA, it's crazy that they didn't put more in here. Look at this map here. Did you not want to put another stage here, or here, maybe one here, or here, or here, or here, or here?
No way.
I think maybe the appeal of this game when it came out was meant to be trying to beat your times on these stages and also competing with your friends because they've got that auto log all the way up in there. Although because the servers have been taken offline, you actually can't play this game anymore without disconnecting your system from the internet, which isn't ideal for how this game was designed. However, it's amazing for your self-esteem because I finished every stage like, first again? Fuck, I'm so good at Need for Speed the Run.
Most impressive.
I will say this game looks awesome. Some of these stages are really cool. I love the stormy plains or the snow-covered mountains, although what is going on here? Why are they shooting rockets at the mountain?
Just ask this scientician.
The main factor that really puts a bullet into the run for me though is Jack. He's the alpha prime example of protagonist that writers were creating in the mid-2000s, where being an arrogant dick was basically the most aspirational thing you could be. He goes through the entire game with this goddamn smirk. He's also the centerpiece for a story that basically amounts to, would you like to do this race and it will solve your problems somehow? Find yourself another patsy, man. What if I was to ask you the same question again? Okay, sure, fuck it, why not? Jack, you have to make up more places. Quick time event, A button, Jack, you won. Now the mob will leave you alone. But did you want to do another race? Oh, and also I just remembered that Need for Speed The Run was the follow-up to Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which in my opinion is probably the best Need for Speed game.
You ruined it and I'm leaving.
All right, it's pitchfork time, everybody, because I know a lot of people really like Starfield. This game doesn't feel very exploratory. For me, the experience of going through this game was bring up your map, select a location, warp to the location, load in, load out of your ship, run forever, and don't run in a different direction because you will eventually hit an invisible wall, or you might find a cave like this one that I eventually stumbled upon after literally 5 minutes of running, and then I loaded into this cave. There was nothing in there. I left, it loaded back out of it. I had to warp back to my ship and then walk for miles and miles and miles to the actual mission. I really would have preferred this to have been maybe 6 to 10 highly detailed planets with heaps of stuff to find on them. I think Starfield has made one thing abundantly clear, and it's that Bethesda desperately needs some new technology under the hood.
Is this a tree? In 2023? This tree sucks, Todd.
Remember when Oblivion first came out? When you first saw this running on a 360, it kind of felt like a miracle. You had this huge open world that looked amazing for the time. You could explore anywhere you wanted. The level at which they've been impressing us with the technology has just kind of gone slowly down with each game they've released. Skyrim aside, maybe. Skyrim did look really awesome.
Hit him! Hit him!
Oh, there you go.
One of the reasons I find Starfield so disappointing is because I love the previous Bethesda games and obviously Obsidian's take on it with New Vegas. These games used to feel like they were full of unlimited possibilities, and one of the very first things a character says to you in this game is, you don't have a choice, you have to go along with what we say.
Get out of here, Dusty. You're on to bigger things. You get going. Just go.
You're coming with me to Constellation. You're part of this now. Hey,
What an amazing role-playing game. Maybe I shouldn't be looking at Starfield as a role-playing game. Maybe this is just an action shooter where you load into areas, collect stuff, shoot enemies, level up. And if that's what you're there for, you're gonna have a really good time.
Merely pointing out your finer qualities.
I come to these games to explore, to discover things, to unravel mystery. Sadly, that's where Starfield is really lacking. Also, the space combat sucks, Todd. Man, we thought Mass Effect 3 was a letdown. Yes, this little kid kind of completely destroyed the entire point of the whole series in terms of all the decisions we'd made. And having Buzz Aldrin's excellent voice acting to close out the series was an interesting choice.
Tell me another story about the shepherd.
It's getting late, but okay. One more story.
But hey, I'll take this slightly smoking toaster over this complete destruction kitchen fire any day of the week. I know people have talked to death about how buggy Andromeda is and how bad the facial animations are, but the main problem I have with it is that the beating heart of the original Mass Effect trilogy was this protagonist that was heroic and you could back. Remember the start of Mass Effect 2 when Shepard sacrifices himself to save everyone? Anyway, we went from that to having the choice between two protagonists that alternate wildly between being smug assholes, total dummies, or stoned, I guess.
Word of advice, though. If that signal of yours is out past the perimeter, you'll need a ride.
A ride?
Shuttles aren't fun in these wings. You need wheels. I think they kept a little...
What the fuck was that line delivery?
Why, oh why, in a series that is so heavily based around dialogue and character relationships, would you have faces moving like this?
What's wrong with your face?
This all sucks even more when you consider the fact that Andromeda plays pretty well. The shooting feels really good. The addition of the jetpack adds some cool traversal. And I like how the planet exploration harkens back to Mass Effect 1. I think I may be one of 7 people on the planet that enjoyed this stuff. The Mass Effect games are really close to my heart. Andromeda was like going to a restaurant and the waiter brings out your favorite meal and then he throws it all over the floor and says, enjoy.
My personal code is, I got this. Fuck.
Yep.
I wonder if anyone remembers this. It's kind of astounding how much this misses the point of what made the first game so fun. I was really excited to see what a follow-up would be. What if they blow this out further? They make the destruction tech even better. They make the world a little bit more detailed, a little bit more packed with activities to do.
You don't want to do that.
No, you're not going to have an open world destruction-thon anymore. You're going to be stuck underground, working your way through dark tunnels where you're suddenly fighting creepy crawlies. I'm not here to play Dead Space. I come to Red Faction to blow up stuff. I don't come here for jump scares. It's even more heartbreaking because you can see that the destruction tech is still in here. Also, what the hell was happening with the voice acting direction in this game?
What is that smell?
We appear to be in Bastion's waste processing center.
So the garbage dump. Great.
What the hell is that?
My wife loves Crash Bandicoot. We were pumped for Crash Bandicoot 4. All the trailers looked amazing. This art style looked incredible. And for the first hour or two, we were really enjoying it. And then at some point, something shifted.
All of a sudden, Crash 4 becomes one of the worst games I've ever played. Ow! That's 7 fingers now! You didn't even let me finish! It becomes one of the worst games I've ever played. If you're going for completion.
See, the Crash Bandicoot games have always been about completion. This is where, for me anyway, the enjoyment of the original 3 games really comes from. Because ultimately, if you just play through these games to finish them, there's not much meat on that bone. And the same is true for Crash Bandicoot 4. You've got maybe a 4 or 5 hour game on your hands. So what the developers did instead was they made the requirements to unlock all of the content in this game, like all the cool skins that you really want to find, just fucking insane.
All of this is not worth the aggravation some of these box gems will give you.
It also doesn't help that this game can be really inconsistent. I find that sometimes attacks don't register at all when they should. It's such a shame. This game looks amazing. And some of the cool filters they put on these inverted levels are really awesome. I love the graphic novel one. However, these inverted levels are part of the problem. You're playing through all of these levels again and again for completion, and then you have to play through them again and again for completion in the inverted levels. Not to mention these additional character stages. You'll get halfway through the level playing as a different character, and then you have to play the second half of the level using Crash or Coco that you've already played before. They had to do all this repeating content, this recycling of levels to make this game feel substantial. I would have so much rather had just maybe one more world on this map with more levels than have the exact same levels again but flipped or with a different color. It just makes the game feel unbelievably repetitive, especially if you're trying to go for completion, which is what these games have always been about. Okay, I don't know if anyone actually remembers this game at all, but it was basically a side-scroller kind of Walking Dead cross with Limbo, cross with survival game mechanics. It's really terrible. Some games are disappointing because you were expecting them to be good. Some games are disappointing because you like them a lot less than other people like them. And some games are disappointing because you start playing them and you go, oh, this could be amazing. And then very quickly your hopes are dashed. The first signs of trouble come almost straight away in the first cutscene.
Just like sharks, when they stop moving, they die. That's how you are, Carla. Save yourself.
What are you talking about?
The body is full of bites and bruises. She's been shot point blank in the head.
Yeah, you shot her. We just watched you shoot her. Here's the thing. You look at this and you go, that game looks pretty cool. What you can't know watching this is that this feels like shit. The controls are so weird and janky. The button that swings your axe is the same button that makes you drop down ledges, so you end up looking like an absolute numpty. The game is going out of its way to try to be dark and edgy, like this slow-mo bit here, his head comes off. Whoa. And the animation priority in this game is insane. Anytime you're in scenes like this where you're running away from zombies, you're constantly telling the animations to hurry the fuck up. And then sometimes, just sometimes, you'll have a little patch here or there. Things start to click. The awful controls don't let you down too much. And you start to go, oh, Deadlight. And then Randall starts talking.
Dead people, corpses. They don't impress me anymore.
Everybody thinks I'm crazy. Yes, sirree, that's me.
I look at Deadlight and I see what it could have been. If you put good controls into this game and not even improve the story, if you literally just pulled all the voice acting out of this and made it kind of obscure with some mysterious story trappings, imagine playing through a game that looks like this, that had good controls, that had good combat, that didn't have the worst writing ever.
Randy, can you tell me what the fuck happened here?
12 seconds later.
Stay strong, Randy, and good luck.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
And we find ourselves once again talking about wasted potential. I've seen the Force Unleashed 2 pop up in discussions about most disappointing games, but it seems to be for a lot of people because they think the first Force Unleashed had a lot of potential and the second game didn't really capitalize on that.
It's false.
For me, it's because this game is just so insubstantial, but the little pieces that are there are so fucking fun. And these lightsaber animations are amazing. This game came out before Disney bought Star Wars and pussified everything. So the lightsabers in this game are fucking brutal. The force powers are so fun. When you get in a bit of a flow with the combat with this game, like you're chopping up stormtroopers and then you're throwing people into force fields so they sizzle into nothingness. Genuinely, the combat in this game feels really good. And then 4 hours went by and it ended. What? It's over? I ran down so many corridors. I fought this mini boss. This game is so repetitive.
You look like you've had a bad day.
Tell me about it.
Well, you came in here looking like crap and you haven't said very much.
You didn't say that again.
Well, you came in here looking like crap and you haven't said very much.
Hey, tell me about it.
Well, you came in here looking like crap and you haven't said very much.
It's just such a waste of potential. 4-hour experience with a nothing story. It's just like, it's over. What are we doing here? I loved Horizon Zero Dawn so much. Here's my platinum trophy. I've just played the shit out of this game. I was obsessed. I love the combat. I love the world. I really loved the story. And I loved Aloy. She was such a badass, but she was also humble. She cared about people. Her relationship with Rost was amazing. Her back and forth with Sylens was great. And I know a lot of people really love Forbidden West, but for me, this was such a letdown. And there's one major reason for that. In Horizon Forbidden West, Aloy sucks.
Whoa.
She basically goes through this game being smug and arrogant and manipulating everyone into getting what she wants. Let me explain what I mean. So there's this bit in the game where Aloy and her buddy here go to see this clan of people because they need them to join their fight. And they say, hey, you need to give us some warriors. And the guy says back to them, hey, I haven't seen a threat at all. I prefer to keep my people safe behind this wall. It would jeopardize our safety to send our warriors out. I'd rather keep them here in case threats come this way so they can protect the population. That seems fair enough. And then Aloy says this.
For as long as we are safe behind the bulwark, he said. I need to get a closer look at that wall.
No. You're not going to do what I think you're going to do, are you? Rather than using diplomacy, which is what she did a lot in the first game, she goes and gets a cannon off this elephant, brings it back and blows up the wall. This wall that has kept this community safe for generations. And then this clan leader says, what the hell is wrong with you? Let's rebuild this wall straight away so we can be safe again. And then our two clowns here, the two people that are meant to be the good guys in this story, have the audacity, the sheer fucking hubris to say this.
We decreed that no challengers would be sent while the clan remains safe behind the bulwark. Send them now, unless your word means nothing.
You fucking tricked him. What do you mean he gave his word? He told you his people were safe behind the wall and then you blew it up. These two have the arrogance to talk about honor and sticking to your word when they just manipulated the fuck out of this situation, put an entire community in danger just to get what they want.
Maybe I should go up there, see if everyone's all right.
Oh, you think? You think you should probably check? Yeah, I think maybe some people died when you exploded this wall. I was teaching my son to ride a bike and this lady came and blew us up and now I have no legs. Anyway, Aloy has this vibe through the whole game and it drove me fucking crazy. It made it really hard to be on her side when she just goes through this story being so arrogant and single-minded and terrible at diplomacy, which was one of the really cool things about the first game. And in the second game, her instant response to almost everything is to be like, fuck you, give me what I want, or I'm gonna have to resort to beating the shit out of you. One of my favorite stories and main characters in gaming, transformed into an incoherent set of fetch quests, spearheaded by an unbearably self-righteous and occasionally sociopathic protagonist. Look at this face. This is Aloy's face the moment she blows up the wall and destroys the safety and security of a huge group of innocent people and probably killed a few as well for all we know.
I told you that bitch crazy!
It really disappoints me further because Horizon Forbidden West looks insanely good. This is going to sound really weird, but one of the first things I noticed playing through this game was this lady's arms. I don't think I've ever seen arms that look more like real arms than these arms here. How many more times can I say arms? This game looks absolutely beautiful and the gameplay is still really fun as well. I still think that the Horizon open world combat formula is one of the most unique out there. I just feel like this game is so let down by the story and Aloy's transformation. It was quite fascinating going back to Horizon Zero Dawn because the second Aloy started speaking to someone in that game,
I don't know about everything, but I'll tell you what I can.
oh, she's back. Here she is.
Some came for Meridian, others for shards, but many came for you by name.
For me. Hikaru ordered you to help me. You gonna defy him like that arrogant shit up there?
That was an unkind comparison.
We all saw this one coming, didn't we? I've talked to death at this point about how disappointing I found Forza Motorsport 2023. You can watch my original Forza Motorsport 2023 review if you'd like to see me ramble incoherently for like 10 minutes about it. Or you can watch my Forza series video as well, where I ramble even more incoherently about it. Basically, what it comes down to is I've always played the Forza games mainly for the single player experience, and that probably makes me sound like a fucking lunatic.
Everybody thinks I'm crazy.
The single player in Forza 2023 is so awful. It's so boring and dry and dull. It feels like it was put together with so little care, with so little attention to detail, especially for a game that they were promoting as this massive leap forward for the series.
We cannot wait for you to get your hands on this incredible game.
I think the one thing that this marketing did get right is that we'd definitely never seen a Forza game like this before. We'd never had a Forza game launch that was so buggy.
The most technically advanced racing game ever made.
That was so bereft of features, that felt so soulless and empty, that had a single player career mode that was just race after race with zero variety. There's no compelling reason to keep you playing through this single player. And again, I think the multiplayer in this game is fine. It's clearly where they put almost all of their effort. But us single player fans were just left out in the cold on this one. We've been working on this for 6 years, but all the tracks aren't in here. We're going to add some more later. What are we doing? Ultimately, I think I can sum up my feelings on Forza 2023 by saying that when I called this video Forza is dead, I think I was being maybe a touch hyperbolic, but not by much. From someone that was looking forward to this game so much, the primary reason I purchased an Xbox Series X to get my hands on that console was because I was so excited to play the new Forza, and there's nothing here for me.
Dear Lord, that's the loudest profanity I've ever heard.
Somerville. I love Limbo. I love Inside. Somerville, it was a bit of a confusing mess. Just Cause 4. Blowing up all the stuff, seeing that completion percentage creep up was so satisfying. That's just gone. Fuel! This game had so much potential, but the technology wasn't quite there yet. This open world is big and empty and boring. Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. This game had a bug where I did absolutely everything and it refused to give me the last achievement. Very disappointing.
It is but complaints.
Perfect Dark Zero! As a reboot of one of the most enjoyable shooters of all time, this game is hideous, plays badly. Quantum Break. 20-minute episodes of a terrible TV show smushed inside really boring generic shooter gameplay. The Dark Pictures, House of Ashes. I really loved The Dark Pictures, Little Hope. The story was awesome. It was like this psychological, twisty, time-hopping deal. And then House of Ashes was this generic monster story in a cave under the ground. Dead Island 2. I was really hoping this game would expand on the scope of the first, but instead it somehow feels smaller and more basic. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. It certainly looks amazing, but it's so boring and repetitive. Also, these kids look really weird. Faces are just so punchable. I should not say the faces of children look punchable. SimCity. Way to miss the point of the original SimCity games. No, I do not want to have to rely on online friends to run their cities in my zone. What the fuck? Also, can I get some love in the comments for Sim Tower? The 13 remake.
Mr. Roland? Been such a long time.
I went back and played the original 13 recently because I loved this game when I was a kid. If you could take that story and those characters and that premise, polish up the controls a bit, clean up the graphics, that could be awesome. And the new game is actually worse than the old game. 007 Legends. What a cool idea to make a game where it brings together all of the different Bond movies and you get to play through little segments out of all of them. Oh no, turns out this was just a marketing exercise so Activision could charge you for another shooter. Alpha Protocol. They said this game was going to be like Mass Effect, but with spies. It controls horribly and it's buggy as fuck. Back 4 Blood. Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 are amazing. Really fun co-op shooting experiences. Back 4 Blood is trying to channel that same energy, except the shooting feels terrible. The blood looks weird and the missions are lame. Trials Rising. Can we stop making everything like online connected and all the DLC is on the map, so when I click on something it's like, you don't own this. GTA, the definitive edition. What the fuck, Rockstar? Minecraft Dungeons. I kind of like this game. I'm very disappointed in myself. Project Cars 3. What a wet fart of an excuse of a way to finish this amazing franchise. Callisto Protocol. Josh Duhamel's face looks amazing. Everything else about this game is bad. The Saints Row reboot. Boy, this was depressing. I don't really cherish making a video like this where the energy is overwhelmingly negative. I'm sure that a lot of the games I've talked about today have had a profoundly positive impact on a lot of people. Except NBA 2K24, maybe. That game just makes me so fucking angry. Just because I didn't like Starfield that much doesn't mean that it's not literally changing someone's life right now, because I think that's how powerful video games can be. We're all gonna have different opinions about different games, and that's a really cool thing. So let's not go out on a negative, let's go out on a positive. I'm gonna roll some clips of all the games I've played today. Let's just finish on a note of thinking, man, video games are fucking cool. Oh my goodness, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Let me know below your thoughts on some disappointing games you've played. And also if you disagree with any of the points I've made, if you've really enjoyed some of the games I talked about. Also let me know below if there's any particular games you'd like me to talk about in the future or any particular topics. Kind of just having a bit of a play around at the moment, seeing what feels good, what kind of videos I'd like to make. So I'm very open to suggestions from you guys. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Sam. I'll see you soon.